In my early days of silent videos and very broken voice, I did a video on Soul Psychology series covering the nature of skill in Dark Souls 3, as well as providing blunt analogy on how weapon matchup metagame is much like rock paper scissors. Today I expand on this concept and start a very new series. A series dedicated to analyzing matchups so that you can adequately fine-tune your setup to beat your opponent. But before we get into it, we gotta establish the concept. I want this video to serve as an introduction to the series, outlining key concept and its troublesome nature. The way I see it, there are two weapon groups in Dark Souls 3. Weapons that are good for applying standing pressure, and weapons that are good for aggressive, neutral pressure. So what's the problem, you may ask? The problem is that those two groups almost always directly counter each other, which means that there is a lot more of skill to picking right matchup and much less to everything else. To make my point clear, I will take two most one-sided weapons that pretty much top those groups and inspect them to outline what's the difference between these two groups. First up is Washing Pole. Washing Pole is pretty much the king of aggressive play. It has very good reach on dashing attack and counter hit potential that encourages hit and run playstyle. If you use it to apply neutral pressure, chaining the dashing attacks and mixing them with weapon art attacks, then you're doing pretty good. However, the moment you try to apply standing pressure with Washing Pole, it loses to pretty much anything. The R1 is relatively slow and doesn't combo. It doesn't have hyper armor and not enough AR to win trades. It has decent reach, but seeing how slow it is, you can't really roll catch with it. This means that the only reasonable way to use Washing Pole is to employ hit and run playstyle and get aggressive. Playing passive with it, as in trying to apply standing pressure, makes absolutely no sense here, since it's just so damn bad. In another group we have Sstock topping the charts. Sstock is king of standing pressure, capable of outtrading great swords on counter hits, incredible reach. It is even longer than some of the spears in the game, lightning faster ones as well. All this adds up to a very good trade roll catch potential. However, the moment you try to chase people with Sstock, you realize how crappy its dashing attack is and how easily low hit stun can backfire on you. Again, with Sstock you want to be as passive as possible and just wait for mistakes, punish them, try to get another hit mid-roll and then reset to neutral. The way you should play Sstock is a complete opposite of the optimal playstyle for Washing Pole, and guess what? It's a direct counter. Sort of. You get my idea, right? If you see Washing Pole user in R1 range, it's not a big deal, it's a slow weapon and doesn't combo. You kind of want these situations to happen. However, the moment Washing Pole user zones out and gets ready for pressuring you with dashing attacks, you get all spooked. On the other hand, nobody is scared of dashing attacks or Sstock, yet everyone panic rolls when it gets up close. This is one of the core problems in Dark Souls 3, and it's almost impossible to solve it in the context of the game. With rolls this strong, no wonder the metagame is focused on whiff punishes and standing pressure, and if you want to be successful while being aggressive as in its common sense, then you need something extreme, something like Washing Pole, a weapon that succeeds in one way yet fails miserably in every other. Now, there are some tricky setups in the game that do well in both groups like Cartoscriptor, but we'll talk about it in detail just a bit later. So, being able to pick correct matchup is crucial, and if you want to counter specific setup, this is pretty much all you need. Knowing what weapon to use in matchup is what will allow you to improve your win rate significantly. And this is exactly what this series is about. Throughout the course of the series, we will take a look at some of the setups and weapon classes in order to find the setup that counters them perfectly. If you're wondering how all of that compares to my weapon analysis series, you should note that here we're looking purely at meta setups that are more often than not involve dual wielding, so it's a lot less about weapons and a lot more about meta setups. Now, I'm pretty excited, so stay tuned, leave a comment, let me know what setups you want to see analyzed. Chances are we will take a look at it. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.